Welcome to episode 174 of the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm going over whether or not Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills can become a dynasty football team. Now, whether you are Bills fans or not, this is a bold take all around, and I understand that. I'm not saying they are a dynasty team or will become one. I'm just evaluating them and seeing if they can. This is clearly going to be hard to claim that they can be, just because first of all, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, who are a dynasty themselves in the same division that the Bills will have to face and go through every year to become a dynasty. And a dynasty team isn't just a good team that made a Super Bowl run or a playoff run or has a Super Bowl or two. It is one of the greatest teams of all time. When you think of dynasty, you think of the Chicago Bulls, the Golden State Warriors, Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, Joe Montana and the 49ers, Troy Aikman and the Cowboys late in his career. It isn't Russell Wilson of the Seahawks, Legion of Boom little run in 2 years. It isn't Peyton Manning with the Broncos. It isn't Aaron Rodgers with the Packers. It is being one of the most dominant teams of all time for a solid amount of time over a given, over a given period. It is not just a 1 year or 2 year thing. It is a longevity thing where you're constantly becoming one of the greatest, where you constantly are one of the greatest teams and no one can really go through you. You're just always winning, no matter who's playing on the other side of the ball. So, looking at the Buffalo Bills themselves, I personally think they have an amazing foundation to become a dynasty. Obviously, you could say this about any team. A lot of teams have great foundations. What's so special about the Bills? Of course, I'll go through it. Josh Allen being one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league currently, a dark horse MVP in my opinion, and will be a future MVP for sure, is the best quarterback out of his draft class. I liked him coming into the draft. I would have taken him number one. However, obviously I wasn't a GM at the time, and I'm still not. Maybe I should get a phone call soon. Hit me up. However, I think he's better than Baker Mayfield in the draft. Baker Mayfield is not good. He's not bad. He's inconsistent, and with that, you can't say he's better than Josh Allen. Sam Darnold's not going to have a starting job next year, probably after they draft Trevor Lawrence. Josh Rosen doesn't have a starting job right now. He's the backup to Tom Brady. And then, of course, Lamar Jackson. He could arguably be better than Josh Allen. It really just depends on who you ask. Me is Josh Allen, just because Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen is an amazing pocket passer, has one of the best arms in the league, arm power wise, between it's either him, Patrick Mahomes, or Aaron Rodgers, and he's with having that arm, he can have a 10-15 year career. Lamar Jackson relying so much on his run game. Once he gets hurt, once he loses his speed, once he loses his agility, and you take the run game away, he's not the same quarterback, and you can't rely on him to be a starter when he just has his passing game. Therefore, I like Josh Allen, the best out of his draft class. So, when you look at a dynasty, obviously you need all the components on your team to be not the greatest and best ever, but they obviously have to be above average and well-rounded for sure. So, Josh Allen, you definitely have an A+ at quarterback in my opinion there. Then you look at the coaching staff, Sean McDermott, definitely one of the best coaches in the league. It might not be Pete Carroll, Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, Sean McVay, Sean Payton, but he's definitely progressing to be right there with those guys. He's still somewhat of a new head coach with the Bills. He led them to a playoff appearance last year, and arguably the Bills should have won their first playoff appearance with Josh Allen if it didn't come down to a Deshaun Watson fluke play. Josh Allen have his first win in the playoffs, but it is what it is. But I still think, due to Sean McDermott being able to do that last year and leading to the playoffs again this year for sure, he's definitely progressing to be in that class with those great coaches. So you got an A at coach from me, at least for now, 100%. Backfield, this is definitely the weakest component to the Bills. Having Devin Singletary, not a terrible back by any means, not a dominant back by any means as well. However, the Bills can work on this. The dynasty isn't formed in 1 year. 2020, they might get some more guys in free agent through the draft. 2021 NFL free agency, there's going to be Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley, Leonard Fournette. Like I said, they could draft. So obviously they can upgrade the running back depth chart and the backfield in general to hopefully get them to a higher grade and create a greater foundation for a possible dynasty team. But as of right now, that backfield's probably got a C at best. Receiving core, Stefon Diggs, great NFL wide receiver, great trade in my eyes for what they got for him. First rounder is definitely worth it. Then you got Josh Brown and Cole Beasley being great role players. In my opinion, you could definitely upgrade the receiving core just a little bit. I'm not saying go out and sign the biggest receiver in free agency like Allen Robinson or Chris Godwin or Juju Smith, but just maybe pick up some guy that a team got cut from, like Kenny Stills from the Texans, drafted late third or second round receiver that has potential. Just upgrade it a little bit so you're not relying on Stefon so much. Then that receiving core will be one of the best in the league if it isn't already. So right now I got them at like a B+, A- for that receiving core all around. Defense, great defense. Tre'davious White, Micah Hyde, Josh Norman has definitely dropped off since his years with the Panthers, but he still knows what he's doing. He's still a great guy to have on your team. And in the secondary, amazing presence, and he's a smart dude. He can play the ball well if you could somehow look past that Derrick Henry embarrassing stiff arm that happened to him. So in the secondary, very solid, probably an A from me, in my opinion. Pass rush, very well-rounded, nothing dominant, nothing huge. They don't lead in sacks. They aren't the greatest pass rush in the league. Whatever, they do apply pressure. They do create pressure. They make the quarterback scramble, and that's really what all you really need to ask for. So that's probably going to be a B from me. However, they can add a little more help. Maybe Jadeveon Clowney from the Tennessee Titans once he becomes a free agency this year. So obviously, I can look at any team and say, well, if you get this guy in free agency, this guy in the draft, blah, 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 you can have a dynasty team. Why are you, just because you say it for the Bills doesn't mean it'll happen. And I understand that, but a lot of these teams, they don't have foundations that are already built in that are just a piece or two away, like the Bills are. Like the Washington football team, you'd need 19 first-round picks and 18 huge free agent pickups to make them a Super Bowl dynasty caliber team. Same with the Bengals, same with so on and so on, all the bad teams, Jets, Giants, etc., etc. But the Bills already have a strong foundation that are just a guy or two away from becoming a team that could go toe-to-toe with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I truthfully think Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes could be a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning type of rivalry that every single year to the Super Bowl is going to be one of those two. Even this year, I don't think it'll be the Pittsburgh Steelers that'll be the biggest problem for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it'll be Josh Allen, just because he's such an amazing pocket passer. He goes for the deep ball. He's go big or go home. Yeah, he makes a few stupid mistakes, but he's still young. It's only his third year in, and he's going to go to the playoff for the second time in his third year. So he has a lot of room to grow, and I just think having a young quarterback that's amazing, a great coaching staff, a well-rounded receiving core, well-rounded pass rush, very good secondary, yes, a weak backfield. I all around just think that foundation on the Bills team has what it takes to become one of the greatest teams in the NFL and possibly all time if they can stay sustainable longevity-wise and keep their young guys, keep youth on the team, keep it under the salary cap, don't lose any big guys, re-sign Stefon Diggs, don't just lose him after a year, keep Josh Allen, don't lose him to another team due to big money, keep your foundation, and no matter what, even if you don't add another guy and you don't become a dynasty team, you will always be a well-rounded playoff team that has a fighter's chance in the playoffs. So that is a reason I like the Buffalo Bills to become a possible dynasty team due to that foundation in the coaching staff, in the quarterback, in the defense, and then the work to be done in the backfield, and then the solid receiving core, of course. 2-minute warning.